Hey, Wes here, and I'm going to help you with stocking your tank. Stocking is a term used to describe the number of fish in your tank and also the types of fish and the size of the fish. Um, I did not stock my tank correctly. I have many fish, but they are not in proper school, so they don't swim in their specified dwelling. Most of my fish are usually in the middle range, but they stay more towards the bottom in the plants because I did not school them properly. Most tetras school in a group of 5 or 6, and they do much better when they're in a group. So, especially fin nippers, because then they won't nip other fish's fins. They'll nip each other's in a type of friendly way between a group, and also barbs and I think there are a few other types that will school, but it's good to keep them in groups of 5 or 6. Corydoras, there's an albino one right there. You can't quite see him. But they like to be in groups of 4, 5, 6-ish. I also have a few top-dwelling fish, like my dwarf Grami, who is actually up in the top. You can see him a little bit right there. He goes everywhere, and he's a lone fish. Grammys, Mollies, Platies, I believe swordtails too, don't school, but you can't have more than one in a tank as long as there's enough room for them to form territories, and usually males will fight as well, specifically in the Grammys. I use a website called Aquadvisor, which is AQADVISOR.com. You put in your tank size and your filtration and your types of fish, and it will tell you aggression issues and size issues, and also schooling issues, and it will tell you your estimated stock percentage, your estimated water changes recommended, and also your filtration capacity. In this tank, I believe I have about 200% filtration. I have a 20-gallon filter right there and another 20-gallon. So that's double the filtration I need for this tank, which is very good because more filtration is always better. Also, I do about 25% water change on this every week to get rid of nitrates. You can learn more about that in my previous video about cycling. And also, you want good aeration. I have a good air stone in here with an air pump that is actually only for a 5 to 15 gallon, but you can see there's plenty of aeration with that pump in this tank, so you don't have to worry about that too much. You don't want to spend $40 on a giant air pump for, let's say, a 55 gallon, and you can air pump for that. You can just get a couple smaller ones and save a couple bucks. Just a standard air stone, runs under the water and goes up the corner, and I have it underneath, inside. A good rule of thumb, most people will say, is 1 inch of fish per 1 gallon you have. That's somewhat true. Like, this is a 20 gallon, but in a 10 gallon, I would say you wouldn't want to get a fish more than 2 inches long. So you can work with that rule as long as you're not getting too big. Like, it wouldn't make sense to get a 20-inch fish in a 20-gallon tank, although that would be following the rule. But it depends on your tank size. For this tank, my biggest fish is 2 inches, and that's a pretty good size because you don't want to get too big a fish, otherwise they'll end up being aggressive. They'll have aggression towards other fish because they won't have enough room and they'll be fighting for territory. So yep, that's a good rule of thumb. Use Aquadvisor. So yep, thanks. See you next.